Welcome, District 3, to the 2022-2023 Candidate Showcase. Today's candidates have been vetted by the District Leadership Committee and are all running for elected positions. The elected positions are, of course, trio members, District Director, Program Quality Director, Club Growth Director, and 7 open Division Director positions. Candidates, welcome. Each candidate will be asked at least one question, and each contested position will have at least 2 questions. All questions should be answered in a 1 to 2 minute time frame, and we will go in descending order, meaning starting with the trio, and then again in alphabetical order for the division candidates. Candidates, are we ready? District Director candidate Karen Hewitt, Distinguished Toastmaster, are you ready? She here?
I'm ready, Peter.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Karen, your first question is, if elected, one of your first duties will be to evaluate the international officers and director candidates for Toastmasters International. What is the importance of this, and what criteria will you use?
Great question, Peter. So we're already looking at the candidates and getting their calendars ready to schedule them, and the newly elected trio will have that opportunity to sit down with each of them. The importance is we need to make sure that those sitting on the board have the voice of the members. It's not about their voice. It is not about us as leadership having a voice. It's our members having a voice. And we need to listen to what the members are saying. Where do they want change? What do they want to see happen? Where do they want to see the growth? And then in turn, we turn around and ask these candidates how they're going to affect that growth. For example, last year as Program Quality Director, and I encourage each role to ask within their purview, pathways was a huge hot topic. So a lot of my questions were regarding to pathways, the direction, the growth, the opportunities that they see, and what would they change? Because I need to know it's not about them. No leadership. If leadership is about anybody sat in this room that is not a member, they're in it for the wrong reason. It's about our members. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Karen. Program Quality Director candidate, Distinguished Toastmaster Sarah Mayer. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm well. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Sarah, how would you address a member that is having issues receiving credit for an educational path?
Great question. And I think this is one that many members have faced in their journey in Toastmasters. I first would explain to them the process for receiving credit, and then also ensuring that their officers know how to approve the credit. So I would reach out to the club to provide information, or have one of my chairs do that to ensure that everyone receives their credit. And also, when members are not able to receive their credit, they do feel deflated and defeated. So it's very important that everybody gets credit for their hard work.
Thank you, Sarah. Club Growth Director and candidate for Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster DJ Reed. How are you doing today, DJ?
I'm fine, Peter. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. DJ, how do you plan to support a club that is struggling with TLI attendance? How would you address the leaders?
It's hard for leaders sometimes to attend if we don't have enough sessions. And I think that that's the key to making sure everyone attends. If we have a club that's not attending, then I would reach out to that club, or one of my team members would, to make sure that they understand the importance of knowing what their jobs are and supporting their clubs in the proper way. because the only way the members can move forward is if they're helped along by officers that knows what they're doing. Clubs falter because officers don't know, and we've got to make sure that those officers know what they're supposed to know. And the best way to do that is to keep reaching out to them and helping them through area directors, through directors, division directors, and through anybody else in the district who can help them understand what their motives are. And that's one of the things that I try to instill in all the clubs that I'm associated with, is how important it is for each and every officer and as many members as can possibly attend to go and see what's supposed to be done in these offices, so they're aware whether or not their officers are actually fulfilling their roles. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, DJ. Candidate for Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Steve Feld. How are you doing today, Steve?
Great. And yourself?
Doing great, Steve. All right, Steve, your question. How would you address a member that is looking for support publicizing a club event?
Well, thank you for that, because that is right up my alley. I am, as you know, big into PR, in PRM for last year. One of the things I found in talking to many club members is how to get their club out there. They just don't know the steps or what it takes to do it. And we have a lot of training videos on the District 3 YouTube channel. But being with this, I'd also get the PRM involved, because they can provide that club a lot of information. And I think a lot of clubs are just not taking advantage of the District 3 calendar for their open houses. And that's a great resource, because it does show up in Google searches and many other places. As long as Facebook, Meetup, how are they utilizing their social media channels? And I have a feeling a lot of clubs just don't realize. They think I'll just put a post on Facebook and call it a day. Develop a strategy about it, and I'm walk them through the steps as well as the PRM. And let's get that club publicized. Let's get those members in there and strengthen that club.
Thank you, Steve. Candidate for Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Edwin Weston. How are you doing today, Edwin?
I'm great, Peter. And you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. All right, Edwin, you have a member that wants to start a new club. What are the basic requirements for them to start a new club?
That's an excellent question, Peter. The basic requirements to start a new club is 1, have 2 sponsors. That's the first thing I would look for. 2, have the enthusiasm to talk to people to get them to join that club. Because having 1 or 2 people or 4 or 5 people, that's not a good start. But if you have a good, strong basis of 20, 30, 40 people even that's ready to start a club, reach out to us. Let us get you started. Let us give you the tools. And if you need help with those tools, feel free to reach out. Over this past year, I worked with DJ Reed as Assistant Club Growth Director. And the tools that I learned from her on how to help clubs start and develop and get over those hurdles that they're about to do, I have learned a lot. And my job as Club Growth Director this year will be help them get over those hurdles, give them the support that they need, always be there for them, and have my team constantly, and I mean constantly, in contact with them. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Edwin. Candidate for Division Director for Agave Division, Angel Lorena. How are you doing today, Angel?
Hey, Peter. Good. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you. Okay, Angel, your question. How would you respond to a member that tells you as a division director that they do not know who their area director is?
Oh, that is excellent. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draft that reply email, and I'm going to say, oh my God, yes, your area director is whoever it is. Then I'm going to say, you can reach out to them for so many things and get to know much more about the district. And you know what else I'm going to do? Something people forget, copy the area director in the email. And I'm also going to include the area director's email in the email as well. It's 2 places. It's a fail-proof way to let them know who their area director is. And then you know what else I'm going to do as a division director? I'm going to call my area director and say, why the heck don't they know who you are? By July 1st, every club in our division should know who their area director is. If they're following the lists we have in place and they're following the guides we've put in action, there is no way by July 1st, none of my area directors will be unknown in their areas. But like I said, first thing is support the member. Second thing is make sure that it's a leadership experience and learning for that area director.
Thank you, Angel. Candidate for division director for Desert Willow Division, Randy Casares. How you doing today, Randy?
Very good. How are you, Peter?
Doing awesome. Thank you. Okay, Randy, your question. Besides a physical club visit, what other tools are available to area directors to help them fill out the club visit report?
Well, basically going to Toastmasters International District Central, and also going to the Toastmasters International at District 3. So there's many resources, but I find the best way to get that information and actually go to the club, take some time and ask them themselves. I mean, yeah, you can go to the internet, and yeah, you can go to District 3, and yes, you can go to Toastmasters International, but there's no better place than to get it from the actual officers, get it from the actual members. What I used to do as area director is I actually used to take time and ask from the president, give me a few minutes to ask these questions. So that way everyone was involved in the visit report, as far as how many educational awards do they have, who's going to achieve an educational award, who's going to achieve a level. So I'm going to recommend to my area directors that they go and get those answers from the actual club, because the more you interact with the club, the more they will know who you are, and you won't have that issue that Angel was talking about in the last question. So go visit your clubs is the best way. So, I mean, yeah, we're going to use internet, we're going to use all that, and technology is great. But at the end of the day, interacting with the clubs, getting to know the clubs is the best way to finish those reports.
Thank you, Randy. Candidate for Division Director, Ironwood Division, Kathy Smith. How are you doing today, Kathy?
I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you.
Good, good. Thank you, Kathy. It's good to hear. All right, Kathy. This may seem like an easy question. What are 2 non-educational requirements for a Toastmaster to receive a DTM?
Thank you for that question. I like the easy ones at first. We'll get a little bit harder as we go along, I'm sure. Well, first, what I think is most important, not for DTM, but for their growth within Toastmasters, is for members to actually be club officers in their club. They learn leadership skills, they learn scheduling, they learn mentoring within the club. So it's very important to enthuse right from the beginning, when they first start their Toastmasters journey, to enthuse them, get them enthused about being a club officer. I think that's the first step. Then after they've served as club officer, we need a lot of district officers, especially area directors. We need a lot of those. It seems to be a challenge every year to get people enthused about being an area director. So you go to your clubs and say, hey, we have a great year coming up. You have a lot of potentials here. Please consider being an area director, because each person who is a district officer or wants to go for DTM has to put in 1 year of district service. To me, that service, the best place you can get the experience and the knowledge is to be an area director. It's needed. You're needed there. You'll see your results faster. I encourage everyone, they're tired of hearing me say it when I go to my club meetings. I encourage everyone to consider being an area director. Thank you for the question, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Floor candidate for division director for the Mesquite division, Prince Leffridge. How are you doing today, Prince?
I'm doing just fine.
Awesome. Okay, Prince. Thinking of the role you are running for, what is the importance of having an assistant to mentor? An assistant for you to mentor. What is the importance of having an assistant?
Well, that's an excellent question, Peter. Having an assistant provides multiple avenues for giving you ideas to move forward and build your division and make them stronger, to help the clubs in the division become stronger. Also, sometimes to help the division director sometimes you can't be everywhere at one time. So therefore, an assistant can sometimes help you get to those places you can't get to. But I'm one of those that doesn't have a problem with driving to Nogales if I need to.
Awesome. Thank you, Prince. Candidate for division director for the Ocotillo division, Edna Saki. How you doing today, Edna?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for asking. Okay, Edna, how do you plan to help clubs learn more about the club success plan? And what does that do for them?
The club success plan is, every time I tackle that when I was an area director, they had no idea what it was. In fact, when I was a officer right from the beginning, I didn't know what that was. So first of all, you have to, I'm a hands-on kind of person. So I would want to not only provide them the club success plan, but hey, let's talk about it. Let's fill it out together. The great thing about the club success plan is that you can actually delegate, break it up for the president to fill out, the VP of education to fill out, and then encourage the club executive to have a committee meeting and they can fill it out together because it is a big form to fill out. But then I would want to circle back and say, okay, where are we at? How does it look? Offer some suggestions on filling it out and then keep that present every other month or so, just like we do with the DCP plan. Let's remind them about what they filled out because in that club success plan is their goals. It's really good to remind the club what their goals are. So that would be my execution plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Edna. Thank you. Candidate for division director for the Palo Verde division, Tom Taboni. How are you doing today, Tom?
I'm great, Peter. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, Tom, let's build on that DCP word. What are some of the basic requirements for a club to be distinguished?
That is an excellent question, Peter. In order for a club to be distinguished, they have to meet 5 of the 10 goals in the Distinguished Club program. But they also have to be at either 20 members or have a net growth of 5 members over their base from July 1st. And I know a lot of clubs in the district think once they hit 5 educational goals, they're going to be distinguished. And, there's many times that we have to walk them through and say, yeah, you did get the 5 goals, but there's a membership requirement involved, not necessarily the 8 new members that make up 2 of the goals, but making sure that your base is 5 net positive or you're at the 20 membership.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome, Peter. My pleasure.
Thank you. Candidate for division director for the Saguaro division, Jennifer Sebastian. Good morning, Jennifer.
Morning, Peter.
Good morning. Jennifer, so our district conference is next weekend. why do you believe it is important for Toastmasters to attend the annual conference?
Well, first of all, that's also networking, to know what's the next agenda for the following year. Who are you going to be team with? What's the next goal? And we can only do that by attending it. And also to know better people who will be in your team, who will lead, and how are you going to connect with them. And that's why it's important to attend. And most of all, to have fun. Oh my gosh, we've been doing a lot of Toastmaster every time. So might as well have fun and enjoy it. That's the bottom line. We can also understand also who's the best speaker, connect with them, talk to them. Why? How to be a keynote speaker, how to present with people. Because attending the conference will motivate me. What's my next goal? Mm-hmm. So I like to have that passion to share with everyone to attend that conference, because that will motivate you to go to the next level. Who knows, by attending a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll be the next president, right? But how can you know it if you don't attend the conference? And that's what I want to attend the conference. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Jennifer. Candidate for Division Director for the Saguaro Division, Martha Brock Leffridge. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, let's build on that. So after conference, and this year will be a good one, we have our annual award ceremony known as usually July Jubilee. Last year was a Toasties. Who should attend the annual award ceremony? And what important event happens there?
The annual award ceremony is a very important event because it highlights all of the wonderful things that our Toastmasters members has accomplished for the entire year. And just think about it. If you do not attend it, it's not necessarily means that it's a bad thing, but oh boy, you would really want to get those wonderful awards and see all of your colleagues as well that is going to be there and do those wonderful things as well. Excuse me for one moment. I'm having a technical area here. It would help us to understand all the wonderful things that we've done for the entire year and see all the wonderful people that has accomplished those things as well. I'm getting feedback on my phone. I'm just going to take my headset up here so that I can hear that. But it's really important for us to be able to, just enjoy the moments and celebrate those moments that we've accomplished different things. So everybody should attend that award ceremony.
Thank you, Martha. We couldn't hear anything double. You were clear on our end.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The Saguaro Division is a contested division, so I will ask Jennifer and Martha one more question before circling back to the trio. Jennifer, please unmute yourself.
Yes.
The district has a lot of events during the year, TLI, conference, the annual award ceremony, and many other events. Why is it important as a district leader that we attend as many events as possible?
First of all, to learn. The only time that you attend is to learn, connect. How will you know if you have a bonding with that group if you don't attend the meeting? How will you learn how to grow? A lot of us have different way of understanding things, but the only way to understand it when you walk through and experience that process. So by attending, you will learn what is the project of that leader. How can I understand them better? How can I view the way they look at it? by not attending. So the more I attend, the more I connect, the more I will learn the process and how to make it their vision reality. So connect with the right people and by attending. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Jennifer. Back to Martha. Martha, please unmute yourself. And your question is, how can we re-engage some of the members that we lost during the pandemic?
That's a really great question, Peter. One of the things that I've been really studying and also implementing in the areas where I'm an area director is a lot of members I find that are not engaged. I started reaching out to different members that was on my roster and just really asking them the why, what has happened. Something has changed where they are not engaged. And once I determine what that is, some of the members I can help to get them re-engaged and reignited into Toastmasters again. But other members, they've expressed that they really don't want any part to Toastmasters. I do not give up on them each and every time that something happens within the area that I'm representing. I'll make sure that I give that information to them. They are always going to be a part of that roster. And I notice with keeping those members connected, no matter what, those members eventually find the energy to come back. And that's been my case. Keeping people engaged in the conversations, the things that are happening around the district. I think those things are very important. Never give up on any member, even though they may not be a part of Toastmasters in the sense that we know. You can always keep them engaged by giving them information, just making sure that they have the right information. And maybe one day they'll all come back to where they were initially before the pandemic. Thank you for the question, Peter.
Thank you, Martha. Back to the trio candidates. Candidate for Club Growth Director, Steve Feld. Steve. Yeah, similar question. Steve, how can we re-engage clubs that we lost during the pandemic? How can we re-engage clubs that we lost during the pandemic?
Yeah, definitely the pandemic took a toll on all of us in many areas, not just by members and clubs. I think re-engaging the clubs, and what I've been talking with a lot of companies who used to have a Toastmaster club and they had to let it go because their doors were closed. Guess what? Their doors are opening back up. We need to start reaching back out to those organizations and get them re-engaged, show them the value of Toastmasters for their employees, which actually helps their employees become better leaders, better communicators, better presenters. And I think Zoom has taught us a lot. We need to work on our presentation skills. I think these companies are now realizing, now that they're getting back in person, a lot of people lost that in-person presentation and communication styles. So by reaching back out to those companies that used to have the clubs, I think they're starting to see the value of it, but we need to show more value on why they need to bring back the Toastmaster Club in their organization and help their employees grow and develop.
Thank you, Steve. Candidate for Club Growth Director, Edwin Weston. Edwin, how can we support a club that is struggling with retaining members?
That's an excellent question, Peter. First thing we need to do is find out what the club needs. Where can we help them? What can we do? How can we help you make your club successful? First thing we need to do, talk to the membership. Find out what their concerns are, what their struggles, where they're struggling at. Yes, pathways and the pandemic has did a lot of damage here in Toastmasters. We've lost a lot of seasoned members due to pathways. We lost a lot of seasoned members due to pandemic. But our job as officers and leaders in this district is to find out what can we do to encourage you, excite you, and get you back to do everything that needs to be done in Toastmasters. Yes, face-to-face meetings are great. But like I'm telling everybody, we're in a new era. We have to understand and face that. For those who was in my age group, they'll understand what I'm talking about. We are now officially in the George Jetson era. Yes. For those who don't understand what George Jetson is, everything is done on TV, on Zoom, WebEx, whatever the case may be. We have to realize that. We have to embrace that. Companies are turning to it now. This is the new means of communication. We have to encourage our senior members that, yes, we are here. Now, how can we do that? We have a very educated community here in District 3 that is computer savvy. We also have a very educated community that's leadership bound. Put them two together. Each one teach one. The younger generation teaches them modern technology. The older generation teaches them how to be leaders in this district. If we put those two together, I can guarantee we will get our members back, we will get our clubs back, our district will grow, and we will be one of the top districts in Toastmasters International.
Thank
you, Peter.
Candidate for Program Quality Director, Sarah Mayer. Sarah, some members believe there's too much communication from the district. Others believe there's not enough. Can you tell us what is the importance of the district communication and why there is, or what the plan is for this year?
That's a great question, Peter. I think many times there's always a break in communication or there's different thoughts on communicating. But the savvy professionals say that it takes about 12 times now before everyone sees the message, especially on social media with algorithms and all of those things. One of the things that I've discovered throughout my time in Toastmasters is that many leaders have opted out of the District 3 communication and the Toastmasters International communication, and they don't even know that. So some of the members who say there's not enough communication, I really would have my team dig into whether or not they actually are receiving the messages that we are sending, because it could be simply they opted out not knowing, or somebody put in their membership application and opted them out. And so I really want to make sure that everybody receives the messages in the way that is convenient for them. And I think at this time, technology with text, email, social media, and other type of platforms need to be explored by the district so that members are able to choose how and what they wish to receive.
Thank you, Sarah. Candidate for Program Quality Director, DJ Reed. DJ, at our annual awards ceremony known as July Jubilee, there is a very important district event that occurs there, and it's not the roast of David Hopper. There's a very important district event that happens there. And so can you please explain what that event is and why should most district leaders attend this event?
There is so much that happens besides roasting the past district director at these events. They are a great event to get to know each other, to understand what it takes to be an officer in the district, and everyone should attend. There's two things basically that happens during that award ceremony. The first one is all the district officers from the prior year gets awards for what they've accomplished, whether they're just district area directors, division directors, or what their office role is, they get recognized. And for each and every member to be there to recognize that person, whether they know them or not, really makes them feel much, much better to know that they've been seen, heard, and understood as part of the district executive or council. And that makes a big difference to people. People want to be recognized for what they've accomplished. But I think the top thing that happens there is the transition of power, where we move from last year's trio members to the incoming trio members. And we do this in a ceremony that's absolutely wonderful. And I think every member of this organization should be there to see that happen at least once. I think they should be there every year so that they know who the officers coming in are. But, you know, some people are just not into going to these things. But once they realize what kind of networking and what kind of things are available to them by attending this, I think everyone would really enjoy it. Plus, I get to dress up all pretty. Thank you.
Thank you, DJ. We have time. So, candidate for Club Growth Director, Steve Feld. How are you doing, Steve?
All right.
Steve, at what point should a club, receive a club coach?
I think, a lot of the rules are below 11 members, and we also have the Eagle as well. I think there's a lot of clubs seeking a coach just to help them get that extra oomph, because they're only doing what they've known in the past. And bringing in a coach kind of opens up the eyes, gives them some more information on how to grow their club and get the members that they need to raise the membership level as well. Also maybe it's the meetings themselves. It gives a different perspective, where a coach has been in many meetings and really can help that club become stronger. And then hopefully that coach, if they're doing their job very well, hopefully helps that club become distinguished. And I think a lot of times the clubs maybe don't know the rules on distinguished or what it takes to get there, where that club coach can help them with the membership as well as all the education and membership awards. So I'm a big fan of club coaching. I've been a club coach, and I tell you, it was one of the most rewarding times helping a struggling club out and going in there and finding out they just been doing everything that they know. And by the coach bringing in that extra information from the district, from Toastmasters International, really opened their eyes and strengthened that club quite a bit. And we always ended up growing those clubs.
Thank you, Steve. Candidate for Club Growth Director, Edwin Weston. Edwin, tell us more about a Club Eagle. At what point should a club receive a Club Eagle? And do you plan to keep it?
That's an excellent question. Club Eagle is a club that's right on the cusp of moving forward. They have 8+ members, a little bit over for needing a coach. But the Eagle is one of the most important things in this district. And yes, I plan on keeping it. Because like Steve said, they got it to a certain point. The Club Eagle's job is to get them above that point. Help them get to what the promised land is, whatever the DCP goals are. But the most important thing about both coach and Eagle is the relationship. You just don't throw anybody in any club to help grow a club. They have to have a relationship, not with just the officers of that club, but the membership of that club. They have to understand the culture of that club. They also have to be open-minded that they're there to do one thing and one thing only: help that club reach its goal. Once that club reaches that goal, it is up to them. And I encourage this, and I will encourage this. Don't just become Club Eagle, say, okay, they made it. All right, I can go on about my business now. No. Stick there with them. Reach out to them. Find out how things going. Is everything all right? What can I do? Matter of fact, What can your area director do? What can your district director do? What can the trio do? We are a family. And there's an old cliche, it takes a village to raise a child. None of us are children, but the concept still comes into play. We are a village. And if you know anything about villages, they all help each other, no matter what the situation is. So that's what I believe what a Club Eagle should be able to do. And that's, yes, I'm firmly for keeping Club Eagles and helping our members and their clubs reach the potentials that I know they can make. Thank you, Mr. Peter.
Thank you. Candidate for Program Quality Director, Sarah Mayer. Sarah.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Sarah. How would you improve district leader training? And more specifically, we're speaking about the area director trainings. How would you improve district leader training?
Yeah, that's a great question, Peter. I do have an education and training background. I spent 12 years in higher education, designing curriculum, and one of my master's degree tracks was in curriculum development for executive leadership. And I think it's really important for our area directors to have not only the toolkit that they need, the basic nuts and bolts, how do I do this and how do I get this done, but also the leadership development training and coaching that they need to grow and lead teams, because that's really what they're doing in clubs, helping club presidents. They're developing other leaders. And so I think it's important that our training not only shows them how to do it, but the more advanced skills of how to lead so that others are inspired and motivated in their Toastmasters journey. And we're developing the pipeline. As we know, in District 3, there are very dedicated volunteers, but we need to be building more volunteers and bringing them up the pipeline so that we don't always have to be doing all the things. So I think it's really important that the training is robust, not only on the nuts and bolts, but also on the finer leadership skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Candidate for Program Quality Director, DJ Reed. DJ, how would you improve club officer training, known to us as TLI?
TLI has been something that I've done in the past, being the chair of TLI, and I really believe in the nuts and bolts as far as training the officers as to what they're supposed to do in their club. But that's not all they need to know. They need to know how to interact with each other. They need to know how to interact with the other members. They need to know how to support the members in lots of different ways. And they're not going to learn that out of a book. They're going to learn it from leaders, from people who's there to help them. And I think having that leadership there and making sure that they have access to it all year long, not just at TLI, but making sure that they understand that just because I'm giving this speech right now doesn't mean that this is the only time you can talk to me. And making sure that we're able to bring that forward to each and every officer, each and every club, that it's not just, oh, you've got to go to your area director. Oh, you've got to talk to this person. You've got to talk to that person. You can't talk to anybody but your mentor. They've got to understand that they need to reach out to who they feel will do them the absolute best to get them where they want to be, whether that be the next step up or like me, I have no PR experience at all. So I'm always going to somebody that has more PR experience, that can do flyers, that can do this, that can do that, because I know that that's an area that I need all the help I can get in. And I've known that since I was an officer in a club, and I've always worked with people that could help me. And I want all officers to know that they have that available to them all the way through Toastmasters, and that there's always somebody out there if they just let someone know they need the help. Peter.
Thank you, DJ. Fellow Toastmasters, David asked me to do this for 45 minutes, and we have met the time requirement. However, I have one more question for our district director candidate, Karen Hewitt. Karen, I'm sure everyone wants to know, are we going to be distinguished? Do you have a plan to be distinguished? Let us know we're going to be distinguished. Karen Hewitt.
Thank you so much, Peter. Yes, everyone wants to hear those magical words. We are going to be distinguished. Yes, I want us to be distinguished. Yes, I see that potential. Yes, I see that possibility. But I'm going to tell you something a little bit more important. I believe this district is home. And there's two things that make that home. And we're going to focus on those two things this year. And if we do put that into effort and we do make those our themes or our threads for the year, I think distinguished is around the corner. One, it's a home. Homes are made of bricks. Let's keep them made of foundational bricks. Those foundational bricks are our Distinguished Club program. Those are our education. That is pathways. That is TLI. That is area director. That is having area council meetings, having trainings, having things put into place for our members to succeed. And if we take our members as those foundational bricks and we're giving them the support and the paths that they need, we're giving them the opportunities to succeed. One, they're going to be more engaged. Two, they're going to be more successful. And if our members are engaged and successful, guess what? Our clubs are engaged and successful. And if our clubs are engaged and successful, our areas, and if our areas, our divisions, and if our divisions, our districts. But we have to focus on the members. And the second thing that makes it home is we're a family. I don't know about any of you, but this was one of the safest, most supportive environments that I ever found. This was a place where I could screw up. I could make mistakes. I could look like a complete fool in front of the room. And instead of being laughed at or torn down, people would say, hey, I know you did this and you did this well and you did here and you did here. Let's work on this. So we're a family that lives in a home, a foundational brick, and that is about supporting the members. And plus, let's get honest, District 3 kind of has a history, and that history is that we are known in Toastmasters International. You may not realize this, but TLI originated in District 3. I found that out because it was something that a program that was put in place here, and guess where it is now? It's everywhere. A couple of years ago, we started a social media training program when pandemic hit. Did you know we had people attending us from Australia, from China, from Korea, from Europe, because we were leading the way. We were supporting our members. We were giving them the skills that they need. We were saying, hey, what do you need? Let's make it happen. And like I said, you all want to hear distinguished. But if we focus on our members, we focus on the tools, the resources, and give them the support, love, and opportunity that they deserve and need. Will we be distinguished? I have no doubt. But it has to start with the members first. Thank you, Peter.
All right. Thank you, Karen. I heard that we're distinguished. So everyone listening at home, online, whatever, our candidates will now go into their own breakout rooms. If you have a question for a specific candidate, ask to be moved to that breakout room and ask your question there. However, everyone listening, this is not the vote. The vote will happen this Tuesday, May 17th at 5 p.m. We are having a special district council. The district council is the 7, all the division and area directors, and every club VPE and club president. So please, please, please make sure you are registered and do attend Tuesday, May 17th at 5 p.m. for the special district council so that you can cast your vote for your candidate. It is one of the duties required as a district officer, and as a club officer for you to vote. So please make sure you attend. Again, when? Tuesday, May 17th at 5 p.m. I hope to see you there. Candidates, thank you. You will now be assigned a breakout room. And those of you that have questions, please ask to join that specific breakout room.